Hello and welcome back to the Davidsdoor podcast. I want to start by saying thank you for being here and spending your time with me. My last episode was very interesting. It was about how I became pagan. You know, if you haven't seen that yet, I definitely recommend you go listen to it or watch it, YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're seeing this. And it was really interesting to me because sharing my story got a lot of mixed reactions, mixed reviews. You know, I had some people saying, "Oh, you went the wrong way, bro." And I'm like, all right, no worries. Like, that's cool. And then I had others saying that they've loved how I've evolved, how I've grown, and messages about how like they saw who I was before and now they feel like this is real me, this is who I am now. And I'm like, yeah, this feels more like me because I'm actually being as myself. Before I was trying to be the best me I could be to be accepted in the world because it was hard. You know, it was hard. I didn't know myself. I was still putting myself together per se. Now it's much different. But one of the questions I was getting asked the most, I got several messages, personal messages, some comments, all these types of things. Same question. Okay. Say you're watching this as a baby pagan. That's what a lot of you were calling yourself. Baby pagan or a new pagan, somebody in their first year, their first couple months, or maybe first couple years. And they're asking, like, I'm still really new to this. I still haven't found many people that do this or are into this. Like, what should I be aware of? What should I look out for? Like, what are some things that I should know moving in this direction? So I figured I'd take this video, this podcast episode with you to talk about things to look out for as you're moving into the pagan space, learning how to walk your own path and evolve and grow as your own version of you. You know, unpacking yourself, maybe deconstructing your old beliefs and discovering what you actually feel authentically connected with. And I'm really excited to dive into this because I've made short videos about this over the years since 2020. In the early 2020s, I was still learning about me, but towards the last 3 or 4 years, I've been really diving into letting people know what to look out for, what path to take, where to start type things. And my biggest piece of advice here is, and I tell this to everybody on my lives on TikTok. Again, if you don't follow me on TikTok, it's I am David Christensen on TikTok. I go live Fridays and Saturdays and sometimes Sundays around 8 p.m. EST. But you get to talk to me personally. We sit there, I answer questions. It's a great time. My biggest piece of advice is it's your own personal path. It's your own personal path. Everybody's gonna be like, well, which path do I have to go? You don't have to go any path. You don't have to go any path. That's one of the great things about deconstructing from, especially if you're coming from a religion like I did, an organized religion where your path is paved for you and you just have to follow it or you're wrong. You know, and when you step into the pagan side of things, you start understanding that. Think of life like a forest. You're walking through the forest and you've been walking on this path that has been paved for you. And, you know, it's worked for some people, and for some people it just feels like forced. But maybe you're walking this path and you're like, this just doesn't feel like my path. This doesn't feel authentic to me. And often with the religious mindset, what we have is we're like, okay, I want to go from one path to another path. And the deeper lesson here is learning how to pave your own path. Now, you can go to these paths. I call myself an eclectic. This is one of the reasons I consider myself eclectic, is because these paths are paved by others who have found their alignment in that path. Think of it again, you're in a forest. There's a truth, or there's a light, or there's finding yourself in the woods somewhere. And there's paths all over the place. Everybody's paving their own. There's paths you can follow. There's other paths you can learn from. They pave their paths a little differently. They blaze their trails a little differently. They use different types of stones or bricks. You know, everybody's path is very unique and different. Some have themes, you know. When you step into paganism, you automatically start thinking, well, what path do I take? Who do I follow now? And my biggest piece of advice is, imagine you're on this path that's been paved for you. And you say, this doesn't feel authentic to me. And you turn You turn and you see a dark forest. And it's scary. So it feels easier to be like, okay, I just want to hop on another path because like it's scary out there. It's dark out there. Like, what do I do? Take what you've learned, what feels authentic to you from the path that you're on, and step off and just start blazing your own trail into the woods. You know, you're going to feel lost for a little bit. It's going to feel a little dark, confusing. You're going to discover a lot of new things, a lot of different perspectives, gods, deities, spirits, whatever you want to call them, guides. Again, you're walking through the woods. Everything is in there. Life, everything is in it. The woods, the forest, this path you're paving. You're a trailblazer when you step into your own pagan journey. And there's going to be, this leads into the second part. There's going to be a lot of people who tell you how to pave your path. Tell you. Rather than offering perspectives, they're going to tell you you're wrong and you need to do it this way. It's really important that you don't listen to that. The path that is authentic to you will begin to pave itself as you start aligning with your truth. And aligning with your truth is an understanding. It's where you sit back and you're like, okay, this feels like me. It doesn't feel like I'm being this way because I think I need to be accepted. There's going to be groups of people, gatekeepers. You're going to hear that term a lot. There's going to be people who are going to feel some sort of egoic superiority over you because they know more about a thing than you do. And they're going to tell you, and again, this is just something to pay attention to. If you don't run across these things, that's wonderful. Continue down your path. However, being challenged is part of what strengthens your truth, what strengthens your path. It helps you align more with where you're going. There's going to be these people that tell you you're wrong, that tell you you have to do it a certain way, that tell you what you should do. You know, even me, you're going to hear me give advice. And the thing is, I have advice. Yes, I have my experience. Everybody's going to have their experiences, which are true to them. Because think about it. Everything you've ever experienced in your life has proved to you the life that you're living, the belief system you've created. So it's the same on their end, on everybody's end, on my end, you know. And all I can offer you is my experience, the things I've been through, the things I've gone through, the things I've experienced and seen. And that's why I like to go and learn from others. As an eclectic, I find those who are open, those who are willing to talk and like to test themselves with me, and I test myself with them. You know, if the truth is the truth, it can stand up to testing. So if you notice that you run into somebody that doesn't allow you to question them, that doesn't allow you the opportunity to sit with them and like really start to understand, you know, and by allowing you the opportunity, some people might have barriers, you know, like, hey, their time is valuable. So is yours, but their time is valuable. You know, if you're trying to get something, like some information for someone or whatever, their time is valuable. They have the right to put a price on their time, you know, so you might run into some of that. Don't fall down the ego trap of thinking that you deserve everything handed to you, you know. Everything has a cost. Odin talks about this in one of his explains this in one of his stories. By when he goes in for knowledge, he sacrifices something. It requires a transaction of some sort. You know, it doesn't have to be money. Some people, it's understanding, it's time, it's you have to meet them in a certain place. You know, it's up to you what feels authentic to you. Just look out for those people who are going to tell you what you need to do, what you should do, or else. You know, fear is not your enemy. Fear is something that's often used to redirect you. Fear is on your side. It's showing you a direction where you need to learn to grow. That's all. Where you should grow, if you want. If there's fear in a direction that you're going and you don't want to go that direction, don't. However, fear is going to be in every direction because everything is unknown. But while you're paving your path in this pagan world, people are going to tell you, well, there's Norse pagan, Celtic pagan, there's Wicca, there's Druidism, there's animism, there's tons of different types of pagan labels. There's a reason I use eclectic, is because labels are just ways to identify paths. All right, you find a druid, you follow a druid path. Wonderful. Maybe you don't want to be a druid, you know, but some of the druid information could help you pave your path. And I've run into ego druids, people who literally just love to tear people down. And I've talked to what I believe are real druids, people who are really in touch and really will sit down with you, and they'll talk with you, and they'll understand, and they'll allow you to explain the way you think, you feel, and they'll sit with you, and they'll be there without their ego in the way, because there's a lot of practitioners out there, especially in the pagan world. This is something you see a lot online, at least. I've run into a few people in person like this, where their ego is so big that they justify it with their pagan beliefs, For example, if I were to be like, hey, I'm obviously right because I directly talk to Balder, the god of light, and you don't talk to Balder, the god of light. I do. So you should listen to me. Like, that's disgusting. Gross. Okay? Offer advice whether they think they talk to a god or not. Whether they feel they talk to a god or not. What you think doesn't matter. How you feel is the truth that often sits with you. Their experience, they could feel like they're actually talking to that god, goddess, deity. That could be true in their experience, but it doesn't need to mean anything to you and yours. Because your experience of that energy, that feeling, could be completely different. Your interaction with the light could feel toxic. Some people feel more pulled towards darker energies, and they just there's people who hang on meat hooks for fun. They meditate in that position with meat hooks through their skin. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not into that at all. However, it doesn't mean I think it's a horrible thing. I'm sure that there's people out there who find their peace in that experience. Good for them. Good for them. There's everything here. And nobody is better than anyone here. Nobody is better than anyone here. And if anybody comes up to you, this is very important. I wish somebody told me this, because I fell into this trap a lot, where I just looked at people and I put them on a pedestal because they would hold themselves above people, and they were so confident about it, so confident about being better, that I was like, okay, they must know what they're talking about, So I'd sit there, and even if they would talk crap about other people, even if they would tear people down, even if they would say how crappy other people are, all these things, I would just be like, okay, well, they got to know what they're talking about, right? These are just crappy people justifying their crappiness with their beliefs. And most of the time we can tell this. We're like, oh, I don't want to talk crap behind people's backs. I don't want to tear people down. I'm just focused on my path and learning how to move forward in my life. I'm not here to tear people down. Some people just are so unaware of themselves that they surrender to that. They're like, this is just how it is. Yeah, how goofy that person thinks that, and people project that onto me too. On my path, I go through a lot of things. There's people who call eclectic pagans, people who culturally appropriate or whatever, and those are just people who don't understand. Those are ego, and that's okay. Ego is the false idea that we own any of this. We are here experiencing all of this. And what you think is yours, you go out and you earn things and all that, it's not going with you anywhere. Your experience, once it's done, it's done. Once you're gone, all this stays here. This painting right here, this little, I can't take that with me. I made it here in this reality, but it's staying here when I'm gone, Your path is unfolding. All these things are borrowed. Ideas, practices, all borrowed. You're here to pave your own path in this human existence, this reality. Find what is authentic to you. That's the most important thing. And when you learn from people, just pay attention if they're there talking down about others. It's a very important thing to pay attention to. If you see them, pay attention to actions. Pay attention to the words they say. A lot of the spiritual leaders are very intentional. And there's good people out there. There's good people out there just trying to get the information out, and what resonates with you. Like me, you don't have to take any of this. Do whatever works for you. This is just advice as somebody who's gone through this, and I've been picked apart because I was heavily viral for a long time. I was pulling in close to 10 million views a month across my platforms for a solid couple years, while going through my pagan evolution, growing and evolving and learning my path, and while still deconstructing my old version of myself and learning how to love myself, while an entire community of self-righteous pagans are doing their best to tear me down without even trying to get to know me. And that's just something that happened to me as a person. It doesn't mean all of them are wrong, all of them are bad. It was a necessary force I had to go through. The darkness is important. There's judgment is a sea that we swim in. 99% of the people are going to find some way to judge you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As long as you're learning to love yourself and you're finding your authentic path. Your evolution, your growth is going to be messy. It's going to be unsure. You're not going to get it all right away. There's going to be people who make you feel bad for that. Ignore them. Ignore them. Remember, misery loves company. Remember that. So there's a lot of miserable people out there justifying their misery with their belief system and applying it to their pagan path. And they just love to cause problems and drama and tear people down. And then there's those the people who think they're better than everybody else, the suprema. I can't say the full word without getting some sort of ramification from any social media platform. But those people who think their culture, their race, or their gender is better. There's no one better than anyone else here. All of our paths are unfolding as they should. Whatever attachments you have to this life are up to you. If you're attached to your gender, if you're attached to your culture, if you're attached to your skin color, if you're attached to, I don't know, your height, you're attached to your muscular stature. All these things are just 3D experiences. A lot of those things you couldn't even control. And the thing is to think if you're born holding something is just a super ego. A lot of people call this a spiritual ego. They're so rooted in believing that these things are important that they forget that walking our own path is the whole point we're here. Attaching to these identities is what's creating these huge divisions. We're all paving our path in the forest of life, finding our way to our truth, to ourself, to our reflection, whatever word you want to use for whatever path you're evolving on, like whatever you're seeking. In Christianity, one thing I did like, seek and you shall find. That's very true. Know what you're looking for. If you're looking for yourself, keep going, because you really didn't go anywhere. You are the one walking the path. If you're looking for connection with divinity or gods or a feeling or something, keep going. Keep learning, keep evolving, keep transforming, keep questioning, keep guessing. Find the practices and the patterns that work for you. There is no right way. There are a lot of practices, and a lot of those practices are duplicatable, and the experience and the feelings are something that they can be duplicatable. There is a feeling in meditation, there is a feeling in breath work, there is a feeling in Tai Chi, there's a feeling in Wing Chun, in Zen. There's all these labels for these moments of presence, these feelings of alignment, and find where it aligns for you. Because as a pagan in life, what's going to happen is you're going to realize that everyone is just going through something, some sort of story in their head, some sort of something. It could mean nothing to you. Remember, every experience you're having means that you've missed every other experience. If you're sitting here watching this video, think about every other experience you're missing. In this moment, right now. Right now, you're missing every other experience in existence. And for some reason, we like to think that our experience is the right one. Your experience is for you. Be with it. Be with it. Wherever it is, whether you're in the woods or watching this video, all the other experiences that are happening, sometimes there's nothing you can do right now. Besides, level yourself up so that you can start making a difference, if that's something you want to do. If that's something you want to do, you can absolutely go change the world, but first you must be willing to change yourself, because you are your whole world. You're the only thing you're stuck with this whole time. So develop that relationship with you. Evolve, grow, transform. Find your path, blaze your trail. And I want you to know too, one big thing is that thing you're seeking, whatever it is, for me, it was kind of like finding myself, finding connection, finding alignment, presence, stillness. I had ADHD. My brain still functions on that. Anxiety, stress, depression, carrying all these things on me. And I didn't know how to let them off. I didn't know how to let go, So in my practices, one of the things I was able to discover for myself is presence, stillness. My mind can still run like a waterfall, but I don't need to pay my attention to it. And I can just sit in the present moment. And I can tune into my mind when I need it. When I'm depressed, I know when to let go. I know how to let go of these things. When I'm angry, I know how to move through that wave of anger. Instead of becoming angry, I notice anger and I allow it to flow through. I'm not perfect. I never want to claim to be perfect. Perfection is not my goal. I'm just growing. I'm just evolving. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, a lot of lessons, a lot of growth patterns. 6 years old, I lost my mom. I recently lost my dad. 15 years old, I was paying half the rent, paying for my own internet. I bought my own phones. I was buying my own food since I was a kid. Struggle isn't something that's new to me. I get to live my dream now. I still have my struggles. They're just new challenges. You level up, you still have higher level things to overcome. So however your path unfolds, dive into it. If you're into the Norse stuff, start with the Eddas. If you're into Druidry, there's a lot of books on Druidry. There's a lot of Druids out there who are... there's not that many Druids that are teaching, that are actual Druids. I feel like a lot of the real Druids are in person. So look for groups of like Yule events, Mabon events. Look for Imbolc fairs. Look for... dive into the Wheel of the Year. The Wheel of the Year is a mixture of a ton of pagan beliefs, but it's the seasons. It's the equinoxes and the fire festivals of the year. There's 8 of them. Look into the Wheel of the Year. Look into where the Wheel of the Year came from. Each one is from different cultures most of the time. Dive into those. Learn where they evolved from. Look into the belief systems that those are from. The information is all over the place now. All over the place now. And the thing is, you'll be able to use your discernment to see what's real, because again, you don't have to do any of these things. One thing for me, I was very judgmental of meditation, very judgmental of sitting and listening in nature. I thought that was a waste of time. Go to nature, do a hike, get home, eat. That was my thing. And then what happened is eventually you find stillness. I found stillness. And when I brought my stillness to nature, and I sat with a tree. This sounds crazy. It sounded crazy to me, but now it's just true. Nature's alive. But I sat with a tree in stillness. I have my feet on the ground, grounding myself. That's a practice that I found works for me. It's authentic to me. Connecting to earth and dirt and grass and water. Breathing in the air. But you sit with this tree and you can you can feel that it knows you're there. And that it's there. And one practice I love to do is I like to radiate love from myself and from the tree, as the tree. Because again, the tree is you. We are all the same. However, whatever feels authentic to you. The tree is a part of you, or the tree is a guide, or whatever. You sit with this tree and you connect with it. In stillness, it's nature speaks. Nature speaks in stillness. The wind speaks in stillness. The waterfalls speak in stillness. The water speaks in stillness. Fire speaks in stillness. So pay attention to these things. Evolve in your path. Build community. Stay open-minded. Stay curious. Always be questioning. Question everything. Question me. If you have any questions that come up, let me know in the comments. I want to know. I love questions. I love being tested. I love when people challenge my belief. It's important. It's important. Like I said, perfection is not my goal, just growth. So then I encourage that for you is on your pagan path. Don't look for a perfect pagan path. There's no such thing. There's only your path. Only your path in your life. That's the only thing you need to need. That's the only thing you should focus on, in my opinion. Your path. Everything else is a distraction. And as you're walking down your path, you're naturally going to bring a better version of you to the world around you. And by bringing a better version of you to the world around you, you naturally become more aligned with the world. And you naturally start providing. You naturally start loving. You naturally start just integrating with the way the world is in a much more natural way. Free yourself from the idea that perfection needs to happen, that there is only one path, that there's only one of this, one of that. It's a very religious mindset. One thing you're going to run into, too, is lore literalists, which is a crazy thing, because those are the same people that make fun of people who take the Bible literally. Like, haha, you think the Bible's literal? My book is literal. Oh my gosh. Like, whoa, chill out. You can look at it literally if you'd like. Look at it as a story, as an energy. That's how I look at things. I'm sure there's truth. There is truth to everything. Everything is a reflection of the truth. Just pay attention to what feels true to you. I truly hope that helps you on your path. I really do. Because there's a lot of stuff that I wish somebody told me, a lot of lessons I had to go through, a lot of dark times in my life that people just had no idea they were a part of, which is okay. It's just life. It's how it goes. But take whatever part of that resonates with you, continue out on your journey, find people who are also curious, who are also questioning, who are willing to have mature conversation where it's like, okay, I'm open-minded, you're open-minded, let's talk about what we believe without feeling like it's an attack. I don't think you're attacking my belief by believing something different. I'm just curious what you believe. Let's talk. And if I believe different than you, it's not an attack on you. I just believe different. Let's talk. Maybe we can find harmony. Maybe there is something that could really help me grow. Maybe there's something I know that could really help you grow. Always be a student, even when you're ready to teach. All right, enjoy your journey, seriously. And if you want more resources, don't forget to check out my book. I have a book called The Door to You, which helps with this perspective a little bit. You'll find that on davidsdoor.com, or you can go to the link down below if you're watching this on YouTube for my link. It's a Beacons, but it's like all my links. I have my art, so I have my canvases, all handmade art, jewelry, my book, music. I even do guidance calls. So if there's something, if you're going through some transformation, you need some guidance, or if you're even looking to grow your social media platform, as somebody who's built 1.2 million followers across my platforms, I would love to help you start yours. It's up to you. All the links are down in the description below. Man, I really enjoy doing this podcast. This is a lot of fun. I love talking. Thank you for spending this time with me. Grateful that you showed up. Grateful that you've been showing up. I see you. And I'll see you in the next one, all right? Stay awesome. All love. And I'll be looking at the comments. You guys inspire these episodes. You inspire these episodes. So, love ya.